Welcome to Once Upon a Time Out with Tony. And in last week's episode, I shared with you the invitation to listening more deeply to the still small voice within, which is the inner voice that will allow you to really find peace of mind. And this finding inner peace is not something that you will find by simply thinking about it. You have to give up your primary addiction if you're ever going to experience inner peace that leads to meaning and purpose for life, and out of which arises real creativity and the ability to live as a unique expression of what I call love in form. In this podcast, Once Upon a Time Out with Tony, I emphasise as a foundational practice the practice of body awareness, or what the poet David Whyte calls the experience of a body in full presence. Another foundational practice of this invitation to living your happily ever after experience is the need to give up your primary addiction, and this is the addiction to thought, to naming, to categorizing, and to living from concepts. The problem for most people, and especially in the West, is that they have never been taught, let alone experienced, what it is to live from a state of no thinking. Most people consider this a not at all desirable experience. But this is the experience which leads to peace of mind, and it has been given different names by different traditions and different teachers. These names include the power of now, thinking without thinking, contemplation, ecstasy, non-dual knowing, and prayer of the heart. Now, for hundreds of years, we have been addicted to reason, which is presently driving our species to the verge of extinction. Reason, however, has given us very great benefits, but now we need to move beyond reason into the dimension of wisdom and knowing. And this is to be done by the individual and not the politicians. This is to be done by you. The present problems of the world cannot be solved by reason alone. We need to go higher. And in the words of the Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, we need to feel the force. We need to feel our connection to the source, and we need to hear and follow the voice in the stone and be true to our destiny and our dharma, rather than live out our everyday drama driven by thought. That is the idea of the separate sense of self. The daily practice of body awareness begins to radically change your focus. You become present to the moment, out of which arises creative solutions to issues that arise in your everyday life experience. And this softens the body and allows for the creative and healing energy of your life force to flow. However, this needs to be aligned with the practice of noticing your thoughts and your relationship to what you call your thinking mind. There is a paradox to be known and lived. The way to find peace of mind is to go out of your mind. Your mind is the least peaceful of places. The best that might be said about it is that it is a badly tuned radio, where all the stations are competing to be heard at the same time. There is no silence, no presence, and no knowing. These are qualities that give you the real time of your life. These are three key elements of the experience of not only finding peace of mind, but being able to abide and enjoy the experience of peace of mind. And to remind you, these three qualities are silence, presence, knowing. Now notice an essential aspect of each of these qualities. They are not things. They arise and have their existence within the space of no thing. And please note that the experience of no thing is not the experience of nothing. Although, to begin with, this experience to the ego does feel like there is nothing there. So in order to begin the journey into living your once upon a time, happily ever after experience, you are going to have to engage with some form of practice, whereby you, metaphorically speaking, go out of your mind. You practice awareness of your obsession with thinking about, naming, and conceptualizing. This is to say, you engage with some kind of practice that invites the experience of non-duality or oneness, rather than separateness. Most of the reason why you suffer, why you do not live your happily ever after life experience, is because you are addicted to an idea that you are deeply attached to. This idea you call me and my. The real you then moves to the background, and for most people on the planet is never known, and thus they lose the knowing of the true self that really is peace, love, wisdom. And notice again that these three qualities, which I think, if you are honest, are what your heart longs for, are no things. They cannot be experienced by thinking about them. You can think all you want about love, wisdom, and peace, but that does not make you wise, loving, or peace-filled. What makes you wise, loving, and peace-filled is when you flow from the thinking beyond thought, from the presence beyond form. And do not be concerned about what will happen if you end up in that state of mind beyond thinking. Life will happen through you. You will finally know who you are, and this will give you true peace of mind and heart. And you will experience life as knowing how to live life without concern. Thought will not disappear, but you will live from that state beyond thinking about, which is always in the past and which is always old and never new. Many people will have read the passage from the Bible that says, "Give no thought for tomorrow." But too few have ever tasted life enough to actually live from that state of moment-to-moment presence. We might ask ourselves, but what will happen to me, to the mortgage, to the job, to the relationship, if I don't think about it? The answer is that until you directly experience the power of silence, the power of presence, the power of knowing, you won't actually have any real power. All your power will come from doing and not from being. All your power will come from doing the time of your life with moments of happiness. You will continue to do and do and do until one day you find your life is filled with do-do. Most people live their life back to front, and it is at best a half-life. You do, you have, and then you be. In fact, for the most part, many people leave out the last aspect, which is that of being. The magic, the happily ever after life experience begins and ends with being, with presence, with thinking without thinking, with silence, with knowing, with flow, with creativity, and with love and compassion. All these no things are eternally arising from the paradoxical space of the fullness of nothing. And I cannot emphasize enough the need for you as an individual to move beyond addiction to thought. This is the unspoken addiction that destroys lives. It keeps us connected to the separate sense of self that means we cut off from peace, wisdom, presence, and knowing. This relationship to your thinking about life is so important that I will be continually reminding you about the need to move into a higher form of intelligence, because we as a species are close to reaching rock bottom. There is a way out. It is into the power of silence, presence, the power of knowing, and the power of wisdom. So this is transformational storyteller and author Tony Cuckson saying thank you for listening. And I hope this edition invites you to listen to that still small voice within that knows and knows you by heart. And I hope you will stay with this podcast that invites you into claiming your birthright as a knower, as a seer, as a flow of giving and receiving the fullness you are here to be. And if you haven't already become a subscriber, then simply go to my website homepage, http://www.tonycuckson.com, and my name is spelled TonyCuckson. And at the top left hand corner of the page there is a form to complete asking you for your name and email address. Simply fill this in and confirm your subscription. You will then be assured of receiving the Once Upon a Time Out with Tony weekly podcast each Sunday. So until next week, I wish you real peace of mind. This is a state of awareness that literally blows your mind. From the idea of time into the revelation of eternity, which is your true home. And thank you for taking time out to listen. And blessings, peace, and much love to each and every one of you.